What is going on, YouTube? PPS here. It is Past the Prop. We're getting in this pretty quick today. Obviously, me and Stu got some got some stuff happening. You can tell this doesn't look like our normal setup, but we'll make it work. Quick show, but obviously want to get you guys taken care of. Stu, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I'm in the garage right now. It's like 30 degrees out here, but we're gonna make it happen. You know, half the house is asleep in there, but I also had a couple write-ups, and they all got freaking deleted before this. That's why I'm like 10 minutes late because my internet wasn't loading. So we're making it through. It's been a bumpy road, but we're here. We wanted to at least, show face and get a couple props out for you guys.
Yeah, bro. It was let's talk last night's game, bro. I think Ryan's the guy who also is chirping me for taking him at 150, bro. It ain't over yet, bro. I'm not done with it yet. I think he's still 30-1, which obviously isn't great, but we'll figure it out. Let's talk that game last night. Lions get the job done. 44-30, I believe the final was. Anything you want to talk about from that game before we get into our recap?
Yeah, I mean, Gibbs early and often, in the receiving game, right? He had that kind of rush early that was 19 yards, but that was pretty much just a swing pass. And then from there on out, he kind of dominated, almost got our long shot there. But that was impressive, obviously, a little bit of a bounce back. And yeah, Goff just did what he had to. Amon-Ra, honestly, I think deserves a lot of credit as well for, battling through and showing up for his team there. And he looked 100%. So I don't know what was going on. I know he didn't play a full load of snaps, but when he was out there, he looked really good. So I don't know what the deal with the reporting was with that. If you bet Tom Kennedy, I feel very bad for you because that was just immediately cooked from the start, essentially. So it was kind of a weird game. I really did not like the Schottenheimer play calling. That's what I'll say. I felt like they were calling this game like they were the injured team, like they didn't have the elite downfield weapons. And I did not like all the early and often Javonte Williams. And then George Pickens also gave us more of a classic George Pickens game where he just looked like he didn't care that much after CeeDee Lamb went down, which is a bummer for my fantasy team and a bummer for the Cowboys in general, because if he's not out there balling out, then, they don't have much going on.
Yeah, it sucks that CeeDee went out. Obviously, had a hell of a game already. It wasn't like he screwed you if you had him in fantasy or any bets on him. Obviously, we'll talk about our bet here, but no, I just kind of felt bad for Dak in a couple of those spots. Obviously, both picks. Pickens just doesn't put his hands out and doesn't actually reach for the football, gets it picked. Flournoy just gets the ball taken out of his hands. I'm like, really, dude? This is how we're going to get 2 picks on that shit. So that sucked. And then just the I don't know. It just didn't feel like there was as much urgency there either. I don't know if that's just more Pickens-based stuff with, him not really going after it. I thought Dak threw a pretty good deep ball there with 2 minutes left. I'm like, dude, Pickens could have easily caught that because those guys were on his hip. And I'm like, dude, just turn and he didn't even look at the ball. So there was that. But, I don't know if we could have – on the show, I don't know if we could have done much better. I feel like both of our bets were pretty sweat-free. I cashed a huge one last night with taking Dak all the way up to 350 because I just have to at this point. The dude is so reliable there. I'm just, like I said, more for me being a little bit more, looking for that MVP ticket to cash. It's tough to have the 2 interceptions on your card, even though I don't think either one of them were really even his fault anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's the interceptions. Like I said, I think it's the loss that kind of does it.
No, yeah. No, but those obviously led to, that's kind of, those 2 turnovers, little bitch Hockey Lee doing his thing. I said that boy to the fucking Shadow Realm, bro, that Yu-Gi-Oh shit. Send him to the Shadow Realm. That guy don't deserve to do another one.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, we were both Dallas backers last night, so that was a little bit of a bummer there. But, overall solid game. And like you said, we won some bets on the show, which is always nice.
Yeah, I think I actually cashed one of my bigger ones because I had it with, I had Dak 250 with most of my stuff. I had Dak 300 with my NBA props, which I luckily hit all of those. So it was a very, a very nice night across the board for us on the show, obviously. And very good for my season long shot, because fuck, dude, another 380 on the card, bro. Another 380. We'll take that. We'll take that for sure. So let me pull up the numbers here. I believe we pull out here at close to 18 units so far on the season. I'll let you talk about your bet here, Stu, as we recap.
Yeah, my biggest worry here was he got it early, obviously, but I had freaking Dak longest completion as well, and it landed on the number at 37. So I was so angry for a little bit, but luckily we got bailed out with that blown coverage later in the game. I believe Flournoy got it. So also talked on the show about his touchdown a little bit, cashed that at plus 700, which was nice. But yeah, CD, before he got injured, he looked awesome out there. A lot of people were going to Pickens, but I mean, I saw why. Both guys are awesome, but I felt like there was a lot of people really leaning into some coverage stats that were maybe a little bit more noisy. It kind of reminds me of like the NBA, right? When you're like, oh, I don't want to bet on a point guard because he's going to be defended by the other point guard, right? But in reality, that doesn't happen the whole game. A lot of the time, screens, it really happens for a pretty small amount of the game. Same thing with like stuff like man coverage, single high. Even the teams that run the most man coverage in the league only run it at a 40% rate. So everyone in the whole world going to George Pickens because of that. It's like, well, CD's also awesome against man coverage, and it only happens 40% of the time. So glad we could get to some CD stuff right here because he was very, very good. He might have had a 200-yard game if he stayed in there that whole time.
That and I think most of the stuff he did was on Reed, bro. I'm pretty sure he did it on him for 5 of the 6 catches. So I was like, damn, this supposed to be their best guy, and this dude is just putting him in a blender, bro. So it was a good performance from CD. Obviously, I got mine there. Luckily, we ended up getting that one. That was pretty easy. Ferguson ended up over 50 yards. Dak obviously over 350. We cashed both of our shots on our bets here. Obviously, we missed, I believe. Actually, got to adjust that for a quarter as well, because we did have both our long shots. I really thought we were getting them, bro. I really did. So many opportunities, but I believe we had the Gibbs 30-yard and Dak 3 touchdowns were our 2 spots. So I think Gibbs had what, 20 something? 20? Did they count that? They counted that swing pass as a run, right? And that was 30, I thought.
No, that one was short too, but he had one in that early that was like 26 or 28. I don't remember, but it was enough to get you sweating, thinking we maybe got that one, but fell a little bit short. But it's obviously plus 700 for a reason. But I felt like that was a very good bet. I'm mad we didn't get it, but close but no cigar.
Yeah, so obviously moves us to 43 and 30 on the season. Obviously, the long shots took the L there, but continue to put out winners. I think I sent to Stu. I think it's 7-1 over our last 4 shows. So obviously feeling pretty good about that in the NFL street. So we're continuing to roll. Hopefully, getting close to that 20-unit mark here. And yeah, we will get this rolling. Obviously, going to be a little bit quicker, as you can tell. As I mentioned before, don't have my light. We're in the living room space here. I have to go shower and get ready for this soon, and obviously I know you're busy as well, Stu. So we can talk lightly about just the breakdown of the card and what we're liking. I don't know if you looked at every game out on the board. I feel like most people would point towards my hometown team being the game of the week.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think Packers, Bears, obviously you get the little LaFleur beef as well kind of thing with Ben Johnson kind of saying, yeah, look forward to beating him 2 more times.
Yeah, I never got that.
No, me neither. But I respect it. He's coming out and taking shots. You got to be confident. I don't think it's maybe right to make some guys angry. That doesn't seem smart. You got a tough division already. You don't need to add more, fuel to the fire. But I'm excited for that game. Packers, I think, should take care of business. But once again, if the Bears, it looks like they can kind of run on anyone right now. And this is going to be one of their toughest tasks. Great linebacker core, great defensive line here. It's going to be interesting to see if they can kind of keep imposing their will. I don't know what the total in that game is, but I would lean under, I think. Even with Jordan Love likely able to do some down the field stuff, I think both teams are going to run the ball a shit ton.
Yeah, 44.5. is where it's at there. Obviously, I'm excited. I got to debate if I have 2 Bears on my fantasy team that I haven't started yet, but I might have to with Monungai playing as well as he has been. So he might find. I don't know if I'm going to start him yet. But I think the second one, obviously, we just saw Coop talk about it in there. Bengals and Bills should be a good game. Obviously, Burrow back, making that happen. We also get the return of 9 for Stu. So Stu gets to watch 9. How much happier could Stu be that he gets to watch 9 full game? I don't know if you could. I don't know if you can see how happy Stu is there, but who else would want to watch 9 play a football game like Stu can there?
Well, here's the thing for me. I told you before the year, Jordan Mason, number one, best ball guy, fantasy guy. I got Jordan Mason on every freaking team. If Aaron Jones misses this week, we could get the Jordan Mason blow-up game. So that could be kind of cool. If we get freaking half-injured Aaron Jones for 8 carries and then medical tent like normal, then that's a little bit annoying because it's kind of hard to bet. But either way, Washington is very winnable. It looks like Daniels has a chance to play. I don't think we have any official word on that yet. But, yeah, I think it's a very winnable game for Washington. Look out for my boy Chris Rodriguez Jr. again.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was debating if I want to pick him up too, just because I'm kind of all over the place with injuries right now. And so that kind of sucks. And I'm just kind of gave up on my fantasy run here after last week's debacle of Drake London continuing to sit every game. And I'm like, I have nobody left, bro. Like, you have your couple guys that you're supposed to have you carry to the finals. And it's like, no, wait, all my guys ended up being hurt. So that didn't work out there. Lastly, last game I'll bring up here, Stu. Steelers heading into Baltimore, 5.5 points on the line there. We saw Lamar pop up on an injury report, 42.5 total. Any thoughts on this one? Obviously, we're not betting it, but any thoughts?
Yeah, that's going to be disgusting. I mean, with how Lamar's been playing this year, so up and down, and the ups have not been coming recently, I mean, I don't know. I'm a little concerned. Steelers are also hit or miss. They played a very ugly game against the Bills last week. I mean, I think Jalen Warren's got to get going, but it's kind of tricky because Gainwell cuts in so much now, and Rodgers obviously has that messed up arm. So I would lean Ravens, but I'm absolutely not betting them. And also, you got to give Rodgers a lot of credit, too. I mean, playing with that huge cast out there, he got nailed last week. If I were him, I'm done for the game. No matter how many Percocets you give the guy, I'm done, But he went back out there and kept fighting. So you got to give a little bit of respect for that. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Steelers win, though. But that's going to be a disgusting game. Another under. Give me whatever the under is on that total.
Yeah, it's an interesting game, to say the least. Just because of the late added to the injury report as well for Lamar, and obviously just hasn't looked like himself. I know everybody kind of said he was healthy, and he was running a little bit more, but you kind of need Lamar to take away from Henry. You kind of need him to get him to unstack the boxes, at least have a couple guys go with him on those read options, and it just hasn't been the case lately. So I guess it's time, Sue. Let's get into some bets. Obviously, each one of us are going to be rolling with one. I feel like we are when we do just the one single bet, we've been rolling. I think that's since we've started this little run, just doing one per show. So I'll let you take it away and start us off.
Sounds good. We're going back to the well. We're going to Jonathan Taylor over 16.5 receiving yards, minus 117 over on DraftKings. Obviously, this was a play last week. We had some success there, had that nice 30-yard catch early, didn't have to sweat it very much. And I don't see why we wouldn't go right back. I mean, one, the Jaguars have the highest pass rate over expectation against them this year by a decent amount. Teams are passing against the Jags at a 7% higher rate than neutral, right? They're clearly number one. It's not even been particularly close. They have a pretty good rush defense, and they've also actually been getting pressure all year long as well. So you got a top 5 rush defense. You got a team that's been getting pressure well recently, and you got a quarterback in Daniel Jones who's going to be very limited, right? We obviously know about the fibula injury. We know those deep drops. We all saw those practice videos. It's a little bit harder for him to be moving around in the pocket there. And as a result of that, I think you're just going to have to see more checkdowns. But here's the problem. Who profiles as the other checkdown guys on this team? Well, one, it's Tyler Warren, and two, it's Josh Downs. Those guys are going to run a majority of their snaps in the slot. The Jaguars have allowed the second fewest yards per game in the slot so far this year. Tyler Warren only plays 29% of his snaps from inline tight end. So he's fully out there in the slot, and then obviously Josh Downs is going to come in as well. They're an outside wide receiver funnel. But Alec Pierce is going to be getting some tougher matchups. Alec Pierce all year long has been getting a lot of cover one, a lot of single high safety looks, and he's been taking advantage. The Jaguars don't really do that. They're pretty zone heavy. They're going to have two safeties back there a decent amount of the time. I think they're going to try to take out Alec Pierce deep. They're going to continue to have success against the slot, and who's gonna benefit? I think Pittman to a certain extent benefits, but I think just like we saw last week, I think Taylor's receiving usage is going to continue to go up. If you can't establish the run on the ground, you got to get a little bit creative with it. You got to find some outside passes, some quick screens. It worked last week, and I don't see why it wouldn't work again. He's one of the most explosive players in football. You give this guy 3 catches, 4 or 5 targets. I have a lot of confidence that he's going to be able to break, 12, 13, 14 yarder. And from then on, you really just need, another catch or two. So I like the volume. I think it's going to be, once again, check down city with the team trying to keep Daniel Jones upright. They're trying to protect him. They want him to be healthy for this playoff run. But this is also a must-win game. And I think the whole world knows it's going to be running city on the ground. And with all the attention in the world and a good rush defense to try to stop Jonathan Taylor, I think that's going to result in some more creative usage. So going right back to the well with Jonathan Taylor receiving yards after last week.
Yeah, no, and I think it's funny because I'm going back to the same play I played last week as well, just because I kind of feel like I got a little burned on it a little bit. And I think we're going to get them both back again. Obviously, yours hit on one play last week. And I'm thinking my boy's going to do it again this week. I'm going to Breece Hall. I did want to make sure I mentioned I did look at Devin Neal receiving pretty closely. I would play it if I have the Kamara news that he's out already, like confirmed. I know we were talking, and obviously I know I would immediately that would have been my play, but like even a 1% chance that Kamara plays, I'm fucked, bro. If I play that now, the crappy part is we're doing this very early before the Friday injury report comes out, which is obviously very big. I will be up up by the altar when they're dropping that shit. So I ain't gonna be able to tell you guys what I'm doing when I'm up there. If I pull my phone out, I'm probably getting kicked. So I ain't gonna do that. So I'm gonna be rolling with Breece. Got Miami. You get Miami to travel. That's big, dude. You get them to travel to New York. It ain't going to be fun. I'm sure it's going to be, 60 degrees cooler than what they're used to. And also, I got to watch your boy Chris Rodriguez against them 2 weeks ago. He looked really good, over 5 yards a pop in that game. I don't really think the Saints are the best team to use as like a data point because they don't really care to run the ball, and if they do, it's like 2-yard carries just to kind of set up play action like last week. But we did see the drop downs to Neal, which I like to see. Maybe some more drop downs for Breece Hall. Obviously very, very explosive anytime he gets the ball in his hands. But the fact that they're projecting him 23 touches in this game at home, you obviously have a little bit more of a spark in your step here. After a win, right? You just won a pretty wild game last week. Obviously, all the trust in the world in Tyrod Taylor leading you to victory. And I remember seeing his interview, Breece Hall kind of hyping him up after Tyrod Taylor took that huge hit, hurt his shoulder, gets back up, play clock rallying down and throws a 50-yard bomb and throws for a touchdown. It's just like, momentum's a thing. It is a thing in football. And I know Breece, obviously, through the middle of the year when they were like, 0-7 or whatever it was, you could kind of tell, there's a little bit more of the sulk shoulders. Right now, they've won 3 games. I think they've won quite a few of these last ones, right? 3 of their last 5 games, which beating Cleveland looks better now, right? That was Cleveland with Flacco there. So it's like, I'm excited. I saw Breece Hall hit this against the Browns, and that's one of the best defensive fronts in the league. I know Miami's been playing a lot better, but I want to have both options. Give me the rushing and receiving spot for Breece Hall. But like I said, very, very, very close second would have been Devin Neal. I just can't do it without the Kamara news.
Yeah, that's the tricky part about the earlier in the week stuff. But I agree. I think this is a good bounce back for Brees. And yeah, it's one of those where Miami stacks the box. They're not good against the run, so they just put extra guys up there. But the negatives is obviously you can allow some huge explosives, right? If those first lines don't connect and you only have a safety one-on-one back there for Brees, he's going to make something happen. And whether that's through the air or on the ground, that can be kind of tricky to predict sometimes. But obviously with the rushing and receiving, you get the benefit of both. So I like it. I think Brees has another good game right here. And their offense is really flowing right now. Like you said, they look much better with Tyrod. Shocker to nobody, right? I mean, that Justin Fields run was awful earlier in the year. I mean, a good start, and then it got really, really bad pretty quickly. But yeah, I like the spot. I think he's not going to have much competition here in the backfield, and the game should be pretty close, right? With the Jets defense actually playing some solid ball in the second half of the season. So yeah, I like the Brees Hall spot. Should have some good time of possession and should have some good opportunities to break off some big plays.
What I will say too is, again, I don't get these very often, but when I got both my boys, both two of my favorite guys to bet tackles on in the same game, that's why that's going to be a bet. I got my boy Sherwood and I got Jordan Brooks on the other side. I might need to take like a ladder tackle parlay up in that one, bro. But obviously they don't let me do those this early in the week. They make me wait till Sunday morning to bet those, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think that that'll find a way to the card at some point because God, you have like those 5 guys that you roll with, and those 2 have been very high up on the list. Another one I will point out is Roquan against my Packers should have a fuck ton of tackles, bro. That dude should literally get so many tackles in that game. Like I think that he's gonna have like if they're gonna give me 8.5s, I'm gonna definitely be rolling with that if I can find a way to.
Wait, who do you say?
Roquan.
Wait, who?
Smith?
The guy, he's on the fucking Ravens.
Who? Oh, he was with the Bears, right?
Yeah.
He was with the Bears, and I was like, well, I think I already bet on Roquan, or I looked at Roquan's numbers already. He's playing the Steelers, right? Yeah. Okay, so I already bet him at that. I'm already looking to bet him on that one, but we have him at the Steelers there too, so I'm gonna still take him in that game too. But Roquan always is a bet for me. I think I'm gonna have to bet like 6 or 7 tackle props here with all the weather stuff. So
yeah, I like Sherwood too. I really like that look. I should have played it last week. The only thing about tackles, just like you said, they make it really hard to bet sometimes. Like Caesars posts sometimes, and then other times they don't. DraftKings does. Obviously, we know FanDuel gave up on that like a year ago. But yeah, I agree. Sherwood should die. I mean, Miami just runs the hell out of the ball and then throws a bomb every once in a while to Waddle or a check down to freaking Waller now that he's back. So that's like tackle city. Like it's either a 5-yard check down to Waller, a 5-yard check down to Malik Washington, or it's just all running. So I love that look 100%.
Yeah, they don't give it to you Sunday morning usually, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, let's do a quick recap, Sue, and then I got to get rolling. I got to get moving. I know you don't want to be out in the 30 degrees too long.
Sounds good. Yeah, we got JT Jonathan Taylor over 16.5 receiving yards for the Colts. I played that one to like 18.5, 19.5.
Perfect. And I'll be rolling back with Brees Hall over 90.5 rushing receiving -110. Anything else, Stu? Before we get out of here, before you can actually go warm up inside there?
Yeah, not really. Appreciate you guys tuning in, even with a little bit of a budget episode, little filler. I don't know what you call it in TV or something, but we made it work. We got some bets out there. I don't really have any long shots, but look out for my boy Vele, anytime touchdown, plus I think 400 is. That's the one spot I looked at a little bit. Dude's like 6'5", and they should be trailing all game against the Bucs. So that's what I like for a little bit of long shot action for the D-gens out there. But yeah, love the props today. Excited to get some more winners on the board.
Yeah, it's tough, all these, doing it a little earlier than usual. Obviously, we usually go live right when the injury report drops. We get all that news, but yeah, a little budget episode. I like what you said for that, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work as always. If I have anything extra, I will make sure I drop it. I'll drop it in the comments here as well, and hopefully we'll be able to cash some tickets. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck. Appreciate you guys joining us here. Again, if you have any other questions, we will be around throughout before the Sunday slate. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck, and we will catch you on Monday.